Hello family, greetings to you all and welcome back to my channel. I'm your brother Chief Lamashegoye Palsi Wulana, also known as Prince Ayoku, sending my peaceful and warmly greetings to you all at the Cape Coast Castle. Alright, so I'm currently at the Cape Coast Castle to go on a tour, so I'm gonna take you through a very wonderful experience, and I'm just getting into the castle. This is the entryway to the castle. What's a demonstration across America? There we go. I saw them one out of town. Yeah, New Zealand. All right, so I'm in the courtyard of the Cape Coast Castle, and our tour guide is about to take us on a tour. So please keep watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you are new on this channel, and click on the notifications bell so that you always be able to get notified when I post new videos. Don't forget to share my contents with your families and friends, and give my videos a thumbs up. So keep watching. Thank you. So good morning to you, our brothers and sisters, and you are all welcome. My name is Mark. We are doing a walking tour. It's taking us about 45 minutes to close to 1 hour. So basically we are coming to walk. And I'll begin the tour first with a brief introduction. After that, we go straight to the male dungeons to see where the British kept about 1,000 captives. We come out and talk about these graves, move to the female dungeons, then to the door of no return. However, I promise you, this morning we are all going to return peacefully. If we do that, we'll have ourselves condemned in a cell, and if God willing we survive the condemnation, we still have some strength and time, then we shall climb upstairs to see the residents of British. Basically, we are walking. And on a tour, pictures are free. You can ask questions, comment, I call it welcome. Now, this is the historic Cape Coast Castle. The word Cape Coast itself, it is a corrupted Portuguese word, and the word Cabo Corso, which means short cape, and that one was corrupted into Cape Coast by British people. And this structure is the youngest and the last castle in the country. You come to this country, we have 3 castles and several of the forts along the coast that were built by Europeans. And almost all of them were used for transatlantic slave trade. But the first one is at Nino. That was built around 1482 by Portuguese under the leadership of one Don Diego G. Azambuja. There's one in Accra, the capital. That was built by the Danish around 1665. This one was started by the English in 1665. Basically, this is the youngest. This one was built at the peak of the transatlantic slave trade. The British designed this particular castle. The dungeons alone held about 1,300 people. at one particular time. There were 1,000 men here at a time against 300 women at a given time. They stay in the dungeon 2 weeks minimum to about 3 months maximum. All depends on the availability of British ships. But 1807, British then came out with a law, said they stopped this trade. That was led by one William Wilberforce. 1814, Dutch also passed the same law. But from that time to 1860, Africa, slave trade did not stop. It continued for 40 years and more. So they called that one illegal. So 1860, everything stopped. So British did this building as a colonial administrative center. Not only Ghana English colonial for the building, but other English colonies in West Africa, like Nigeria, Sierra Leone. This structure served as the headquarters. The English were here up to the time Ghana regained our independence on the March 6, 1957. Then we can remove the British out of the castle. So the castle, 1665, that English started building using free and cheap African labor till today. It is 357 years old. That is a big episode. Now, Nino the first and the biggest is about 540 years old. And those of you who went to the museum, others didn't go there. Those who have not been there, don't worry, go after the tour. Go to the museum gallery to teach you that before British built the castle in 1665, this piece of land changed hands among several Europeans. Portuguese came here first, but they didn't build it in a structure. The time they were at Nino, they were doing some drills here. So when they defeated them at Nino, they abandoned the land. But in 1654, Swedish came to build a permanent structure here. They called that one Fort Colonialism. They were trading in ivory and gold. They stayed for some time, they also abandoned the place. Then later, Danish came. But the Danes were here, Dutch attacked them. So when the Danes were defeated, the Danes went to build the one in Accra, the Castle. So while Dutch thought they conquered everybody, 1664, the British attacked Dutch people. In 1664 was the same year a state in North America called New York, then New Amsterdam, changed hands from Dutch to British. The same year British defeated the Dutch over here. So the English defeated the Dutch and they built the castle. They knew other Europeans would come to fight them. The British brought this cannon to sea all around for defense. That was why they stayed here for about 200 years and nobody conquered it because of the weapons. When the English were here, Dutch attacked again, Danes attacked, French attacked, Germans attacked, sea pirates who were white also attacked English. But those who came were not able to defeat the English because of the weapons. And they built the castle using bricks. You can see bricks like this. They are brown and yellow bricks. The English brought these materials from England. They brought them to balance their empty ships to Africa. Going, these black people as balance. There was no cement at that time. So they built the entire castle using grounded seed shells, lime powder, and palm oil. That's what they use as binding material. They didn't use iron. There's no iron in the building. There's no iron. And they built it also on the natural rock. The foundation is rock. That is why for years the building is very, very strong. So this is in a way a small introduction before we begin on a tour. I will tell you more, including how our ancestors were captured from all over West Africa, marched to the castle, kept for months before taken to the New World. So I'll pause. If you have a question to ask me, you can do that before we start the tour itself. So brothers and sisters, if you have a question. So let's cut around.
Are you guys scared?
Don't be scared, please. Don't be scared. There's some water in that outside. There are steps. We are entering this place now. It's the last end. All over the inside. Altogether, it was built for 1,000 people, 1,000 altogether. But British divided the dungeons into 5. So this is 1. And about 200 were kept in 200. Because there was no light, this 3 also say that they are only ventilation outlets for 200 people. They stayed 2 weeks to 3 months because of the ships. So some became blind. But they had bricks on the floor. Those days, we had no toilet facility for the African people. So our people were forced to go to toilet here. They will urinate in addition. They were here for about 3 months. These trenches we see here were built originally as their urinal. When they urinate to pass through into the sea. It was also built such that whenever it rained, water can enter on this side and clean the drain. And it rained this morning. That's why we have water running. So this is not even this rainwater, please. But it reached a time that some Africans started fighting the British people because they were suffering. So they wanted freedom. Those doing that, English identified all of them and brought them from the other side to where we are standing now. So then they created a door here. There was a door at the back here. So they called this place a strong room. The British were not coming to clean solid waste. So the waste started piling. It started from one level to the other, Reached a time that this bridge you see now was completely covered with human waste. The waste came out like this. So I'm going to show you something. Therefore, I'll move some people. If I move, you don't be disturbed. 1, 2, 3. Don't move. Those standing at the back, the gentlemen, don't move. 1, 2, come. And I'm pushing the table. Please push. The one that goes on. If it's okay, I'll tell you. No, it's okay. Go slow. It's okay, I'll tell you. Right, I think it's okay. Now let's look on the wall, down. On the wall, down. You can see some white markings. You can see 3. Because they were not cleaning this place, the waste came up to this height. But the bricks reached this height. They reached the level like this. You can see the markings. We have them all around. The bricks wasn't shown. But 1974, University of Ghana Archaeological Department came to do excavation here before they found these bricks. Also the Bible, 74. So if you were to come here before 1974, you wouldn't see the bricks. You see some waste like this. So they left a portion of that waste. We still have it here. So I'm going to show you. So I'll move some people again. Please don't be worried about that. From my brother here, those are on here. Let's come to the middle. The waste is white. There's somebody in white where you are. Come like this if you want to see. They are using the lights, so please. Inside this fence, what is in the fence is not the same like the bricks. Look at it carefully. Are you seeing? So that's solidified waste. The whole floor was like this before. So during the excavation time in 74, they cleared all the waste. They left this one so that generations yet will go on to come and see. This one was tested and it proved that it had toilet, urine, sweat, blood, and other things. So this waste. But because it's been a long time, it has changed like an ordinary soil. Yeah, what is this one, please? What is the steps of significance?
What is the significance of the candle?
Okay. These candles was lighted by a white gentleman who is on tour right now. And whenever they descend to the African American, they come. They do a lot of rituals, prayers, and a lot of things. So even on the floor, because we have to you can see some candles around. Look at this place. Some of them may say. Sometimes you come and stay like 2-3 hours. praying, learning kingdom, doing other rituals. So one guy, he was supposed to join the tour, but he decided to go alone because of the spirituality involved. So they were just some Rasta. They were those who were, they saw the guy, and he came to one sling and he got the one in his right. So it's for other spiritual purposes. You see, most of these kind of pieces are around the country. They are all second and third. And if you see those like this, it means windows. The one here serves as a spy hole. But when we are gathered now, on top of this dungeon, British went to build a church. They said they were Christians. They went to church. They said they were Christians, so they go to church. The church was called Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, SPG. That changed into Anglican Church in Ghana. So English were up preaching Bible, shouting hallelujah. And Africans were here suffering, and they didn't see anything wrong with it. As we are going, this is a urinal in the middle, so let's go.
So what we see here are all.
Don't block the entrance. This is the last one, which had about 200 per the calculation. So out of the 1,000, by the time they were ready to go with them, many died. But those who survived, that was not the end of their chain. They were taken to the dungeon, they chained them, they marched them to this place. At that time, there was a hole at the back of this white cloth, round hole. They call it a tunnel. So they force them through the tunnel. They take them to the door of no return. They don't take them outside. But the tunnel was blocked when the trade was over. That was done to signify the end of this trade. And when we go outside, the hole is there. We will see. But here nobody can see that. When they bring them from the darkness to where they are guided now, when they were here for over a month, some of them were actually sick and weak. So when they reach here, they look at the sick ones, they select them. We send them to that small room where the way is temporary, just to allow the stronger ones to go. That was why British intentionally created this window, because then there wasn't light. So this one will help them to see who's sick and who's not sick. We call this particular place selection room or sorting room. Whenever the stronger ones leave, the sick ones were brought from there and kept back here, but all of them died because they were not given any medical attention. What we have here is a shrine. And we have to know that before Europeans came to Africa with Christianity and Islam, that was also brought by the Arabs. Africans believed on. Our people prayed to God through small Bibles, in poor libation. So before British built the castle in 1665, I told you, they built the castle on a rock. So there was a huge rock around this part of the land. So our ancestors considered this place to be a sacred place. So they come here to do rituals and to pray. When the English came and they occupied that space and they built the castle, anytime the local people wanted to come and pour libation, the British would be saying no. The local people came by the shrine to their community. So when the English left, they brought a piece of rock here, which is now has turned into a shrine. And they call it Nana Tabi. When you come to Cape Coast, there are about 77 gods in Cape Coast. Nana is one. If you look around here, you can see flowers in other places.
Did you say gods or ghosts?
Gods.
Yes,
Smaller gods. I was talking about the candles. The candle with them. In Africa, they have one candle. We go around this fast.
Goats?
No, not ghosts. Gods. Small gods. The African diaspora, when they visit the camp, they take them around in 2 hours. In fact, the emotions are very, very high. So after going through all these emotions, some of them sharing tears, so that they pray, they do other ritual, they do a lot of things. They leave these flowers here in the memory of our people. But that's why this is happening. You see most of these things from the tour. So today we will not be going to the sick bay as it happened in the olden days. But walking through the dark tunnel to the point of no return, we are free. You can take your pictures after that. We'll go back and see some other places. The volume is about some 20,000 gallons. They do only rain harvesting. So we have pipes like this around. So whenever it rains, you harvest all the water and store it. So this is rain harvesting from British those days. This one made the same thing.
So how many feet is it?
Oh, more than 20 feet.
Okay.
It's very big.
Okay. Okay.
It's kind of like the tunnel that started from the mill dungeons where the shrine is. You remember? I said my team blocked it. There's a hole down here to the ships. So we are going to see part of the ship. So let's start. This is the passage. So this one started from the mill dungeons where the shrine is. So when we're ready to go with them, they don't bring them outside. They walk through the points of hey! This place go from the beginning to the end. These are the two openings. Let's give them some lights.
So how deep is the tunnel?
Oh, it depends. Because of the ground level, some places they're about 10 feet or more. But other places it's about 3 feet. From toward this side, this sharp. So it depends.
And how long is it?
The length is about 78 meters.
Okay. All right. Big man. So far, like, what do you think with all of these things? It's not easy.
Now, look at this place. This is the end of the tunnel. So originally, this place was not blocked. It was open. So they start the journey from where the shrine is. Shades. When they reach it, at first, this was the exit to the ships. All the men were going this way. But due to the tidal waves, the sea was coming in. So English blocked that side. This became the new entrance. So from the instead of them going this way, they passed. But this was blocked when the trade was over. Before we go out, I want you to see something. I told you to go in the castle with seashells. Let's see some of them. Your eyes are good. You can see. No, let's look up. Look in between the stones. Look at it carefully. Just look up. Look in between the stones. Right, what can you see? Some of the shells are not well grounded. Some of them are showing. Can you see? Especially this place. Because of that place. You see some shells around. You see? Here you can see there are some shells there. So that's why they use as binding material. But the hole was a spiral. Some of them are saying that it was to hang some of the captives. But frankly speaking, I have no proof. So sometimes I try to abstain from that. But it's original. But as to tell you what it is for, that's what some people are saying. But I don't have enough evidence, so I try to prove evidence. You remember we were in a cell, and I told you that was a condemned cell. This was another cell, but this cell was built for some of the female captives that British wanted to rape, but the women said no. Because of malaria, Europeans never brought their wives to Africa. Malaria killed them to the extent that they named the coast of West Africa the white man's grave. So only men like Asking left their wives like this in England to take care of their children. And the men were here were adults and they were not Roman fathers. So they couldn't stay without men, so they raped the African women. But sometimes they wanted to do that, some women would be fighting them. They should say no to that, they brought them right here. They around, this one of the images. They stay for about a week for punishment. They were doing that for others to see, so that tomorrow, when they get closer to you, what will you do?
Walking out.
You can see a hole there. That hole was the toilet, give it to them. They pass food and water through this place. Once in a day, sometimes twice. This and this were built for women. So shall we enter this one, please?
So this is the women dungeon.
For women. This
Okay.
is for women. So we are entering one of the female dungeon places. Women were basically 300. 150 here, 150 in there. As human being, why do they enslave women? Because I told you they were taking time and work. So we talk of weeding and harvesting sugarcane, tobacco, rice, and working in the construction sectors. But I mean men only. Women were also taken. And you know why? They were taken purposely to go and give birth, to go and breed, so they get more. So when the men got there, 300, they multiplied in their millions. We used them to work. They didn't pay anything for 400 years. In these dungeons, they treated them like the men. They go to toilets here, they urinate. At the end of every month, women pass their menstruations. In addition, naturally, they did not allow them to clean their teeth. They did not bath. They didn't give them any sanitary pad for about 3 months. But upon all this humiliation, British still raped the African women. So anytime they wanted to do that, they come from the rooms upstairs where we go later. You come down, open this or that, they look through. Then if you are the woman that they like, they'll select you to the bedroom. They'll go and rape you. If you fight them, they'll punish you in that cell. Some of them got pregnant in the castle. So when you're ready to go, and they see that you are pregnant, they wouldn't take you away. They freed those people from the castle. They built some private homes for them around Cape Coast Town. It's in bricks and stones. They kept them there. They became free people. They gave them food, clothing, everything. When they gave birth, sometimes they would free the mother with the child. Or they would take care of the mother and the baby up to about 10 years or more. And they go and take the light skin baby from the mother. They bring the mother here again as a slave. And they gave birth to mulattoes or light-skinned children. And they were proud giving names to those children. That is how come along the coast of Ghana, especially when Europeans settled, we have light-skinned people. And most of the Ghanaians having some European last names such as Van Dyke, Van der Poel, Vazinga, Matheus, Da Costa, D'Souza, Johnson, Coulson, Ferguson, Morrison, Hansen, McLean, Taylor, Brown, Bruce, Texan, Dawson, Atta, Taylor, Jackson, Wood, all the censuses. I don't know all, I know just a few. These are names for the white people. Before Europeans came, we never had these names. They were typical African tribal names, which they couldn't pronounce. And they corrupted most of our local names. So if you are here, you know some of these names in society, please, if you see them, educate them from me, right? Come forward. Say, they go talk somebody, say what? These things started from slave trade time, then continued through colonialism, colonial period. So let me tell you something. If you come to Ghana today, because mulatto and colonial time continued for over 100 years, these children were mulattoes, and because they were from British, they had access to a formal education earlier. So they put them in high positions. So if you look at the academic calendar now in our country today, most of these people in these high offices are the descendants of these people we are talking about. If you talk about the Nemo Thompson, the Van der Poels, the actors, all of them, Duncan Williamson, you know all these names, Georgina Woos and all of them. You know Kingsley. Hayford Kingsley, yeah. A lot, because their ancestors were Europeans living colonial time, so they favored them in positions, and it's continuing today. But ordinary people who are struggling, they are now trying to catch up with them. So that is the trick. This is the door of no return. The door was very, very small and narrow, which was then designed for one person at a time. A group of people like that, they'll be here, they'll go through one after the other in chains. They would enter boats, they go to the bigger ships. And the door was made bigger than it during British colonial time. And if you go through the door of no return, during the time of slave trade as a black person, one, you will lose your identity, you will lose your culture, respect, dignity, and everything. From here, some of the captives were taken to North America, United States, places like Jamestown in Virginia, North and South Carolina, and almost all the original British states in America. There were 13 states. They passed through this castle. Some of them went to England, Liverpool. Liverpool was the biggest slave harbor in the whole of Europe at that time. Some also went to Bristol, Bahamas, Trinidad and Tobago, including Jamaica. And those who were taken to Brazil, Brazilians passed through Elmina Castle, through that's the Portuguese, because Brazil was a Portuguese colony. Some of the Brazilians were taken from Angola, East Africa. I've mentioned Suriname, Haiti, Dutch Guyana, Curacao. They were also taken from Elmina Castle, through that's of the Dutch. And those who went to the French Caribbean, they were taken from Senegal, Gorée Island, because French were in Senegal. And interestingly, Brazil received the largest number of slaves from Africa. Do you know that? Brazil got 47% of the entire slaves from Africa. And Brazil is the third largest black population in the whole world, outside Nigeria and Ethiopia. You didn't know that? Oh man. Yes, that is a fact. As we speak to the 21st century, Brazil has a black population of about 93 million. Yes. Apart from Nigeria, they have a population of about 200 million. And then Ethiopia about 110. No other individual countries have a black population of about even 80 million. That's the fact. So those people play soccer in Europe, the Brazilian, they're supposed to be in Africa. They play soccer for us. Yes, they play soccer for Black Stars. But look at where they are. Sure, we are going to return. We saw door of no return. My brothers and sisters, going as the return, and it is the opposite. The return is symbolic. It came only 1998. There was a ceremony in Ghana called Emancipation 98. During that time, skeletons of two slaves, they called them Samuel Cassie and Madame Cresta, were exhumed from New York and Jamaica. They brought the skeletons first to Accra. Accra to where we are gathered now. They were in two caskets. The door was open. They were taken through to where I show you the graves for a short African funeral ceremony. From there, they carried the remains to a town called Asin Manso. That's where we have a slave river for reburial. Because two skeletons came and they are with us on our soil, buried. That is why we have renamed the door. The door. It means out of the millions taken away by the whites, we brought 98. That is telling all of us that at least once in our lifetime we should come to Ghana, for that matter, Cape Coast Castle, and go through the door of return. That is exactly what we have done today, 3 years after the year of return. So I am so proud of you for returning, right? So we are going to return. But the tour is not over yet, we are only returning. So let's return.
So when they bring the slaves here,
Wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a hall called the Palava Hall. And I don't know when I heard of Palava before. Oh, I don't know this. This is not a song. This place was actually, Palava may mean trouble, trouble, chaos, etc. And Palava came from Portuguese. This was a market. I told you how the Africans were captured. I said they walked from Salaga and beyond to the castle. But after walking from there, drove around a half of Kumasi, and arrived in the castle, we first got here. This was where they auctioned them. Because of auctioning, sometimes there was some misunderstanding between the buyer and the supplier of price. That's why Kalabak in trouble. From there, they will brand, they receive their trademarks, and they go back to the Ganges for months. But if we know about the bond of 1844, that gave British power to colonize us for 100 years. It was signed between 8 infantry chiefs and British. The 6th of March 1844, it was signed between the bond of 1844. Let's move.
Wait. So,
okay, then you
the chief signed.
All right, so the tour at the Cape Coast Castle continues. So, please, was it before the Fanti Confederation was formed?
Yeah, it was after the bond before the Fanti Confederation was formed. The bond was signed first. Now, let me tell you how the whole thing came about. How this bond, how the architects of the bond and all those things, how they crafted the whole thing. Now, when slave trade was about to end, British were in this country. They were here. Dutch were at Nino just there.
Yeah.
The Danish were in Osu Castle. The Germans were in Volta region in Togo. So 4 Europeans were here, this small country. So which you control became a problem. So Dutch did some negotiation with the English. They sold that one at a minute to the British. But the British had the money, but they didn't pay full cost. They paid half, and they gave some of their possession to the Dutch people. Listen very well. This is history. They gave some of their possession to the Dutch people in northern Sumatra, Indonesia. So more or less British and the Dutch swapped forts. The Danes did similar negotiating with the English. They abandoned the Castle. The Germans, who were then controlling Volta region and Togo, the French and the English formed alliance against the Germans. Because the Second World War, the Germans did all the destruction in Europe. That affected their colonies here in Africa. So French and the English wanted to throw them out. So they came together. As the French started fighting from Benin, the English started fighting from today's Ghana. And the Germans were in the middle. So they couldn't do anything. They had to leave. So those in Volta region are talking about the secessionist group. It is real. It's a fact. We shouldn't admit that thing. It's a fact. It's a fact. So
You're talking about what?
Secessionist group, because they are saying they want to take Volta region as a German colony.
Yeah.
It's real. They have a point. So this whole country from Volta region down to Azin became for the British. And coincidentally, the Ashantis were fighting the Fanti state. Because to the Ashantis, they wanted to come directly and trade with the Europeans here, British especially. But the Fantis who own the land here, before they would get to the coast, the Fantis said, no way, we want to be middlemen, so that we can also get some local fuel. You know what is local fuel?
Yes, I'm just more.
Thank you. So the Ashantis were fighting the Fanti state. It got to a point, one of the Ashanti chiefs called Osebonsu. He fought, he tagged the sea around him, but that's why he was called Osebonsu. Wabonsu. That's the name of Bonsu. So this conflict was going on. So British were closer to the Fantis. They told the Fantis that they want to protect them against their enemies, Ashantis. So the Fantis should give them their land. We use the resources to do that. Sounds good. So the British sat down and they crafted a nice agreement which stated that the Fanti chiefs has given the land for them for 100 years before the chiefs to sign. It became binding. And they added certain things like to stop human sacrifice and all those things. But the main thing was to get the land. So the question is this: if you want to protect somebody against his enemy, how do you protect him for 100 years? How do you protect the person for 100 years?
Are the rest of the ethnic groups mad about the Fanti?
No. So when they got the basis with the Fanti land, then they used force. They got the entire country as their colony. So this is how. And that was the time they brought they constructed railway lines linking Prestia, Boise, Muni Valley, and then Akwatia to where the resources are, to take the resources out of the country for over 100 years.
So they cannot go through here to Kumasi. So they need to use here.
That was the time they took the resources away.
All right, so
Listen, I'm coming. I've not finished. So the bond was signed on 6th of March 1844 for 100 years. So 1944, 100 years came. So the leaders at the time knew of the agreement. So 1948, the first political party called the UGCC was formed. That's how the independence struggle started. So 1957 we became independent. So Kwame Nkrumah knew about all these events. That's why I put the independent on the 6th of March. 1957.
When you mentioned that, was like,
Why are they teaching us this in school?
Master, Kwesi Broni is sponsoring your educational system. So
and
they
the
teach
books
you
were
this.
all,
but it's just recent days that they change the topics and the subjects. Else it was all being taught at
Because
in the primary
So
school.
if you know this, when you
Yeah.
take,
yeah.
they will not teach you.
So that means that the Fantis contributed so much into slavery than any other tribe in Ghana, right?
No, that is not slavery. This is after slavery.
Colonial,
This is
that was
after
colonial
slavery.
time.
Okay. This okay, yeah.
That was this is colonial.
Okay.
We have shifted a bit from slavery
To colonial. Okay, yeah.
So you see the whole thing.
So we can look at it. We can blame our ancestors all we want, but know that these people are crafty. They know what they want. You can go to the villages and you can talk to them, convince them, and they can give you everything that they have.
Yes.
It is no different from what it was. It's
That's
it's
something
even
nothing
worse.
has changed. That's nothing has
So,
changed.
yeah.
That's something nothing has changed.
If you are in you need to say.
So if you remember.
Okay, sorry. So when the bond of Faith was signed, and they got the land, the colonizers, the capital was in. So this room was just a court, first colonial court. When they moved the capital to Accra, 1877.
So this is the first court in Ghana.
First court of law, British court of law. And at that time, the church was used as a classroom for school, for education, for the schools. And at that, the same place was also used as a broadcasting house. The church was and at that time, there's a yard here, which was used as a prison. This way. That one is called Fort William. You see that one?
Yeah.
The fort was built by the English. It was for their soldiers. Soldiers were there. And they were looking from around whether other Europeans were coming to fight with them. So that was built to protect this building.
Oh, okay.
And they were supported by the cannons. See the cannons all around. Where the shops are now, these rooms at that time it was used as British soldiers' barracks. Soldiers' barracks. The middle one was officers' mess in the kitchen. But when this hall was used as a court, colonial time, the barracks was then converted into a prison. So if you go to the court and you want to go to jail, they'll bring you here to serve as the prison to serve the sentence. So before Ankafu Place was built, this was a prison yard.
Do you have any idea that every castle usually has a...
Yeah, almost all the cars are forts for protection. This one has two forts. There's one called Fort Victoria, but we can't see that one from here. So there are two of them. This is Victoria, that is.
I have a question.
But I think this is the original roof.
Yeah, this is original. That's mine. This is original. So we have climbers, the tour. We are in the governor's residence. And this is the living room. The living quarters. Look at the space. This is the living room. One person without a wife and children. This is the living room. Look at the space there. 9 windows. 9 windows. Let's enter the bedroom.
Correct is
And who was the governor at the time?
Oh,
Ah, okay. So, and who was the last governor?
Lord Listowel.
Lord Listowel.
A lot of them. The names plenty. I can't keep all of them.
Okay.
McLean, McCarthy, the hockey ball, plenty of them. But all of them, when they come read this book.
So was Goggisberg here or where was he? Yeah.
Goggisberg was in Accra.
He was in Accra.
So this is the bedroom. You can see 5 windows in the bedroom. One person. So 5 here plus 9 there. Compared to the dungeon, compared to the cell. You see the cell? No, it's uncomparable. Now we have replaced all the wooden floor you see all around. We have replaced all the wood. We have replaced all the windows as well. But this wood is original. We are exiting, going down. The governor's room. The spaces, there were cameras. We can see Elmina Castle here right now. Some to Europe, others to Caribbean. And Elmina Castle is the first and the biggest European building in sub-Saharan Africa. It's bigger and older than all the castles, including this very one.
And please, when was the year again?
1482.
And this one was?
1665.
Okay.
So about 183 years difference.
What's the easiest way to get there from here?
Coming in.
Get there.
You can drive through, go this way, towards Stakra, you get to it. So finally, before we go, if no questions, don't forget the castle is 357 years.
The Cape Coast Castle, right?
Cape Coast Castle, 357 years. British started their construction 1665, but it went through stages. Went through demolition, addition, before they got to this. The way they built it, the dungeons had about 1,300 people at one particular time. We had 2 weeks minimum, maximum to about 3 months. Slavery stopped 1860. Now, Cape Coast Castle is the youngest castle among the 3 in the country. It is now a UNESCO heritage site. That was done in 1979. As we told the council this morning, brothers and sisters, it ought to be in everlasting memory of the sufferings of our ancestors. We pray that those who died here should rest in perfect peace. And those who love return, find their root, especially Africans, and may man never again, now repeats, never again, be given that opportunity to commit such atrocities against his fellow human being. On this meeting, my name is Mark Tete.
Thank you very much. So once again, this small room, what is it about?
Security posts.
Okay.
I'm already a man who said,
You can show the city's flag.
yeah, I should.
So this was the security room for the governor. Okay, so family, I hope you enjoyed this tour. Actually, this castle was built on top of this rock. So as you can see, this rock, it was built on top of it. Yeah, so slavery never again. All right, so family, as you can see, that was a very long tour. I really enjoyed this tour. It was a very sad moment. It was very emotional. We pray that the soul of the ancestors will continue to rest in peace wherever they are. Till we meet again, I'm your brother Chief Lamashawiya Pasugana, also known as Prince Ayoko, sending my peaceful and warmly greetings to you all from Cape Coast Castle, located in the central region of Ghana. Have a wonderful day, stay blessed, stay focused, and continue to pray for their ancestors. And continue to be united. And I hope and pray that something like slavery will never happen again. It's very sad, but it has already happened. So what we have to do is to keep united, is to keep being supportive to each other, and to keep protecting each other and supporting each other. So stay blessed and have a wonderful day. Peace and blessings. One love.